Hey guys, it's Hans here with my channel, Sharpening Iron. Um, my channel, and I just wanted to give a little description about it, and I wanted to talk about myself and kind of where I see things going with it. My channel is primarily based to spread awareness for peer support, suicide awareness, and mental health awareness for veterans, police officers, first responders, primarily. And I'll get to why that's the case. But there's a lot of veterans, there's a lot of first responders who are out here in the world today, and a lot of them feel isolated, and a lot of them feel as if they don't really need help or want help or feel that they deserve it. That was one big barrier there is that whether they deserve it or not, and whether someone will listen. So again, my channel is to spread awareness for the peer support, getting help, mental health, even physical health as well. And again, that channel name is Iron Sharpening Iron. And it has at its foundation a Christian following, Christian belief. Coming out right out and saying it, that I believe that Jesus Christ died for my sins, and Jesus Christ is my Savior. There's no shame in saying that. There's no shame for anyone who believes that to come out and say it. And it doesn't matter who says what. The haters will hate, so to speak. But you trust in God, and all things will be made right through Him. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start giving daily videos after I read my morning daily Bible. So I have a daily Bible. His name is Charles F. Stanley, and it's called Life Principles Daily Bible. And in there's Bible reading. It's about 15-20 minutes, and it goes by the date. So for example, today, May 17th, you look at May 17th and it has it all laid out for you. For me, having some being ADHD, it helps me. It helps me focus, and it helps me stay on task. And coming from a police and military background, it's got that structure for you, right? So it's all laid out in like an instruction format for me, and that works for me. And I'll have a link to buy that if you so wish, so desire. That will be in this video as well. So my verse for today, because I'm going to have a verse for every day. So my verse today comes from Psalms 63:1. And it reads, "O God, you are my God, I shall seek you earnestly. My soul thirsts for you, my flesh yearns for you, in a dry and weary land where there is no water." That is my verse for today. Seeking God in that manner, in that way, legitimately, honestly, truly, and all the time, for me has, and I'm sure I speak for a lot of others out there listening to this video, feel the same. That they've come across troubles, they've come across hard times when all the worldly and related things of this world have not helped them to move on, have not helped them to get better, heal, etc. And that's why we have the Bible. That's why it's there for us. That's why these things are here for us to read and to study and to know and be in God's Word. In that we'll find peace, in that we'll find tranquility, and doing it every day. So for the past week, I've used this Bible and I have felt immensely better. Like a weight has lifted off my shoulders. Sometimes it's hard to describe because there's so many feelings, positive feelings, that happen in this process that I've been going through, this healing and recovery process that I've been going through. Every day when I wake up in the morning, before I do anything else, I sit on a chair in the living room. I might get a cup of coffee or water, and I will sit down with this Bible and I will go through and read that daily lesson. And like I said, it takes about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And I really try to clear my mind before I do it. And I try to make sure that I don't have distractions. So the phone, social media, game, all that stuff, all that garbage is turned off. And I'm proud to say too that one of my devices, one of the things that I was heavily distracted by, was video games and social media and some of those things that are out there. And you really have to, when you read this Bible and you get into it and you read the daily lessons, you really have to clear your mind. So what helps me is to sit down in a quiet area where you don't have distractions. And I know if you have kids and things like that, it might be more difficult. But find a place that's your quiet place and get into it and start reading to it, and pray before you start reading. I ask God for peace and calmness of mind, and I ask for direction and strength and all those wonderful, loving things that God provides us. I pray for before I start. So anyway, going to my background, I'm 38 now. Like a lot of veterans that I've spoke to who served in Iraq and Afghanistan, when I was in high school, 9/11 came about, and being a patriot, being an American patriot, loving this country, and knowing through my experience and my training and my knowledge that this country is the best on the face of the planet, and I hold true to that. That's not to say that there's other wonderful places out there, because I'm sure there's other wonderful places. I've been to other countries where they're pretty, and there's other wonderful things, but when it comes to the totality of everything, rights, liberties, freedoms, everything, America is the best. But anyway, I had that passion to protect and to serve and want to do that for my country. So I decided to join the Marine Corps. I graduated early from high school. When I graduated early, I joined it at 18. I joined the Marine Corps at 18. At that time, I went in. I went to MCRD San Diego, which is out in California, Southern California. I did, at the time, I think it's a little bit longer now, but boot camp at the time in 2003 was 13 weeks. So I did 13 weeks there, and then when I was done with that, I went to School of Infantry at Camp Pendleton. After I was done with that, I was shipped off to 8th and I Marine Barracks, and I became a ceremonial marcher. I did all that. I was with Bravo Company, 3rd Platoon, aka 3rd Herd, and I spent 2 years there, marching and drilling and Friday night parades and parades at the Iwo Jima Memorial and going to Arlington Cemetery a lot, and partaking in ceremonies for active duty Marines, retired Marines, Marines killed in action, things like that. Was on firing party there for a little bit, and I learned a lot through my experiences. Any Marine who's stationed actually at 8th and I, most of us, when I was there, were pretty pissed off that we were there. We were pretty angry that we were there because we didn't really want to be there, and that's not what we signed up for. I was 0311, like most of the Marines that I served with at 8th and I were 0311, and that's riflemen. That's your ground pounder, your bullet sponge, grunts, whatever you want to call it. And because we were there, we were marching, we had other duties, we had other responsibilities. There was certainly some animosity, and maybe some of you are watching now, but it took me a long time to realize what I did there at 8th and I was very honorable. When you're there and you're partaking in a funeral ceremony for your fellow brother Marine who was killed in combat overseas somewhere, and you're holding that M1 Grand in the salute, and you have your uniform just flawless, perfect. Everything's perfect, cleaned, pressed. Your gloves are white, right? Your gore frames are shiny. Everything looks good, and you're marching and you're drilling just perfect. All the movements are together in unison and perfect. You're really representing the Corps and this country in an honorable way, fashion. So don't think that there's any shame in that at all, because I definitely was amongst those that was really struggling to understand my purpose there, and we all do. I think we all try to understand why we're doing what we're doing, and 8th and I was definitely it was an honorable experience. I had some good days, had some bad days, but after that, I then was transferred to Camp Pendleton, and I joined up with 1st LAR. LAR stands for Light Armored Reconnaissance, and they have these vehicles. They're called LAV-25s, light armored vehicles, and so I was a scout. You had your drivers, you had your folks who worked on the vehicles, and the scouts would get in the back of the vehicle, and then we would go and we would be more mobile, kind of like a mobile infantry kind of unit. And so anyway, moving on, did some training, did a workup for deployment. Deployed to Iraq, Anbar province, and I was there in 06 to 07. I did my tour there, it's the normal 8-month tour. Did patrol operations, things like that. Went outside the wire. We would primarily function in and out of Al Assad Air Base, which is an Anbar province. It's towards the western part of the state. And through my time there, learned a lot, saw a lot of things. And when I came home, I took a lot of that with me. I didn't leave it in Iraq. I kept a lot of that stuff with me, and I carried a lot with me. And when I got home, and as a lot of Marines know, when you deploy and then you come home, you're going through this process, this after action, after deployment process. You see the psychologist and things like that, and like a lot of Marines, you just blow smoke up their rear end, because you just want to get the heck out of there and go on leave and get on libo and just do your own thing and drink and do whatever. And you leave all those interactions, all those experiences in your head, and they carry with you, and you don't deal with them, and they end up being unaddressed, like I did. So anyway, when I got done with the Marine Corps, I was done after a 4-year stint. Served honorably, did what I needed to do, got back into Camp Pendleton, and I EAS, which is just exiting out of the service. Got my DD-214, which is an official exit document, and it has all your accomplishments, awards, and things like that on there. And I took that, and I went back home here in Maryland, and then I decided to join the police department. So spent 16 years on the police department. It's just a county police department, and did patrol, was in the school resource unit, did a lot of things, saw a lot of things. But in my time as a law enforcement officer, I still had all this baggage from the Marine Corps. And till one fateful day, about a little over a month ago, I had a pretty big, bad incident that occurred. I see it as a blessing. I see it as God blessed me to redirect me and to give me new hope and to give me a new life, in the sense. Like there was a part of me that was passing away, and there's a new part of me that's beginning, and that's why I'm making these videos. And again, I didn't do anything about it, and then it exploded. And my hope and goal for these videos is for those first responders, police, fire, EMS, military. It doesn't matter what you did in the service. You know, if you served honorably, you need to be proud of yourself. I don't care if you were a flippin' chef, or you're, some, high speed, low drag, SOF person, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, if you served and you did it honorably, that is really important, and that is honorable, and that means a lot to this country and to the citizens. And that leads me into my next phase here, where I want those of you who are seeing this video, who feel like you're isolated, who feel like you don't want to get help, who feel like you don't deserve it, who are constantly in this web and this ball of depression, anxiety, isolation, feelings of hopelessness, and things like that. I'm going to leave my information in this video below. Call me, email me, I'll talk to you. I don't care. All I have is my training, my knowledge, and my experience, to quote a lot of law enforcement type training, my training, knowledge, and experience. That's all I have. I'm not a certified psychologist, I'm not a certified therapist, and I don't claim to be. But what I lack in that part of things, I have the experience and the knowledge and the training. And there's a lot of things that I've gone through in my life that may relate to some people watching this video. And there was an incident that occurred yesterday, in fact, where I met a couple, an older couple, and their son was in the military, in the Navy actually. And he ended up getting out sooner. He was kind of close to retirement, but he ended up getting out sooner because he could no longer take it. He could no longer handle it. And their parents, they're really worried about him. And there's a reason why that occurred at that moment in time the other day when I met these folks. And I did the same thing that I'm offering now. I offered my email, my phone number. Contact me. I can try to help you out as much as possible if you just need a good friend to talk to. And the idea behind my channel, Iron Sharpening Iron, is if we communicate with each other and we kind of throw back each other's experiences and we talk about whatever BS and things like that are going on in our lives, we can really help each other, form each other. And again, at the foundation of all this is God. There's a higher power that we need to go to, that I go to every day. And again, I'll leave the link for the Bible in there. I'm also going to shout out to Wounded Warrior Project, the Wounded Warrior Project. They have been absolutely fantastic, phenomenal group of folks, great organization. You're a veteran out there, please look at them. Just go to the website. I'll put the link in this video. Go to the website, check them out. They have all sorts of cool stuff going on. I love the Wounded Warrior Project. Just to give you an example, a couple of weeks ago, I joined the Wounded Warrior Project, and I got invited to this, what's called a rage room. And any of my military brothers and sisters out there, and first responders out there, it's a rage room. So you go to this place, they put you in a room with glass and plates, and you get to choose your weapon, one mind, any weapon kind of idea there. So I grabbed a bat and a hammer, and I just went to town for about 15-20 minutes, and God, did I feel better. I felt so much better breaking things. It was so much fun. So and that's just one example of what the Wounded Warrior Project will do and help you. The other week I went to the Under Armour's headquarters up in Baltimore City, and we did a workout there, and lunch was provided. I mean, there's so many resources and great things out there for veterans. And I want you guys to know that take a look at this group, because they'll help you. They'll get you mental health services, even employment and some other things. They have a lot of activities going on. They also have peer support too, which is what I'm trying to get into now myself, is peer support, because that's huge. There is really a passion that I have for that, to help others, to serve others. Mentally, I'm no longer at that stage where I can continue doing police work and things like that. Those days are over. But if I can continue to help and serve, I'm going to. There's also, for police, and I'll put the link in the below too, is Wounded Blue does a lot of good things for law enforcement. And I'm also going to find some resources too. So part of me, I don't have it for my brothers and sisters who do the fire side. So firefighters and EMS. God bless you guys and gals too, because I've been on some scenes with you guys, and I know you're exposed to it too. Believe me, there's you're not exempt from it. So anyway, that's my first video. I hope you guys like it. I'm going to make another one tomorrow morning, and I'll have another Bible verse in there for you. And again, anyone who wants to reach out to me, I'll have my information there and below. And if you just want to reach out, say hello or comment, whatever you want to do, don't care. Just put it in there. Although if you're hating to hate, I'm just going to ignore you, whatever, move on. So just be it at that. All right, have a blessed day, and take care of yourselves. Bye.